Hello and welcome to May's wrap-up reading video. My name is Allie with Amory Speaks, and in case you're new, this is going to be a wrap-up for things that we've been talking about all month for May. Every Friday, I pull an oracle card from my Saints and Angels deck by Doreen Virtue, and we have a card to work with for the week to come. Basically, if you're interested, you can find me on Telegram, where I do those live every Friday morning Eastern Standard Time. And the monthly theme is also another thing that I started doing this year with these readings, and I ask my tarot deck for a card for us for the month to give us a theme, sort of like an umbrella to work under. And as the Fridays go by throughout the month, we get new inspiration, guidance, advice, whatever comes through from the Saints and Angels for more intricate workings or deeper insights into that. And so for May, our theme was temperance. Even if you haven't been with it the whole month, or even if it's not May right now and you're finding this in the future, the messages that are being relayed are for you. So don't get too caught up in the dates and the schedule that I'm talking about. Time is relative, right, and not linear. So don't fret. But the theme of temperance in itself, right, is a modest restriction of luxury in order to withstand and persevere the whole. It's such a deep topic that really I could, and I do, infinite, eternal work on that theme, especially being a mother. But even if you're not a mother, and you're in a relationship, or you're a father or whatever, even if it's not a relationship with a child, but children really test the patience, right? But your significant other can. It could be your parents. It doesn't have to be, but that mother energy runs along parallel to this theme of temperance. Really, is why I'm drawing from that. But anyways, you might have seen this kind of theme or calling, or been struggling with that kind of the responsibility of it, or the multifaceted way that you have to approach things in order to work through difficult things. You might be facing that, and maybe that's even if you haven't been working through the theme all month. My point is that maybe you resonate with that, and that's why you found this video. So with all that said, I think I'll just get into the reading here. I already took my cards out, and I laid some crystals out here, just to set the tone a little bit. And so if you remember, or if you are new, I'll just say quickly, the wrap-up readings for the month, I have been doing a 4-card spread. And I really like spreads. Some people don't do them, or they like to just pick and shuffle, and that's cool. I do that a lot too. Whoops. Oh, they're excited. Steady. There's so much working going on. There is so much being done, and perhaps I'll just take a moment here to relax and ground my cards. I've done meditation already this morning and centered myself, but I wasn't going to do a whole grounding meditation kind of get in the zone thing at the beginning here. I was going to just get into the reading. But just for a moment here, I think I'll just close my eyes quickly and take a couple of deep breaths. If you would like to join me, feel free. If not, you can just watch, or you can kind of soften your gaze, look gently past your nose and just take a couple of conscious deep breaths to connect into the present moment. Source, God, saints, angels, ancestors, ascended masters, fairies, elementals, higher selves, all those beings of higher frequency and density who witness and watch our beautiful journey here with benevolence, kindness, love, and appreciation in their hearts. We thank you eternally for your audience. And we ask you to settle here with us in this present moment, to look upon us in this month, this last day of May here, and offer us a review of how we've done, of how we've worked, of how we've persevered and embodied this theme of temperance you have so majestically asked us to work with in this heavy, quick month of newness, of manyness here in May that we felt. We thank you again so deeply. We ask you to speak to us through these 4 cards. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is what I like to usually do, which is give my cards a quick shuffle here, usually what I feel to be kind of a 3-part shuffle, and then I'm going to lay them out, and I'm going to choose my 4. Oops, where did I put them? Okay, so here's what we've got for our 4 cards. I'm gonna lay them out 4 in a row and look at them for a second, then I'll show you them. I should have set my other double cameras up, but this morning I didn't have the motivation, I guess. I thought I'd just do this simply. Just quickly here, just to talk and say that for the 4 cards, in case you haven't seen previous videos or you forget or whatever, the placement of the spread is the first card is going to represent us at the present moment, or the collective at the present moment, right? How we have embodied the month of May. And the second card is below, and I usually leave that one horizontally, and that is a message of what we have either a hurdle, sort of how we've got over that hurdle, and what kind of messages they have to us about that, whether it was done gracefully, whether we didn't do it well. The meaning comes through more when you see the card, right? And then we have the third card, which is things from the month, from the past, that are still kind of residual, or some debris left over, things that we've either had difficulty clearing away, or have sort of stuck around. Now, whether that's because they might be useful in the coming future, either as a warning or a heed, or it could be tools that are remaining that are going to be useful in the future for a more positive kind of way, depending on the card. And then the fourth card is about how we're moving into June and what we need to take with us into the future. So, wow. Okay. So, we have reversals too, and sometimes people don't read reversals. I really love to read reversals because I think they give us a clear notion of what wasn't done correctly or what needed to be done in order to work right. And yeah, I feel like that reversals are much more direct answer sometimes. So it's great to see them come through. So for our first card is the Hierophant upright. And wow. That's it's such a righteous determination sort of judgmental card, right? The second card is the Three of Pentacles. And of course, you know, that one's the one that's horizontal, so it has its pros and cons to it, right? But it's letting us know that we've done a lot of, throughout May, we've done a lot of work, a lot of creative work, in things that we're good with. You know, whether it is literally, you know, making art or some kind of form of creative expression like music or singing or writing poetry or crafting things, building things, perhaps trade type of skilling things. Anything that you make your way in the world with, right, that you can offer as a service is what the Pentacles represent, right? That kind of money sort of exchanges on more of a solid physical level. So May has been a time that we've really been working through that theme of getting that going and doing that work. For our third card is the Two of Cups reversed. So, you know, choices about partnerships, choices about who you be involved with, who you pair up with, who's trustworthy, who's not, who's going to stick through things. It's kind of that represents that hashing out period when you have new relationships, new friendships, and you need to kind of test the waters and see where people are at. It can mean specific to one person, even that you felt all month kind of that you've been having this sort of thing with. It can represent projects with people as well, or new groups of friends as well. It doesn't have to be like a singular relationship, but the choice points will be very dualistic, very separate, this way or that way kind of feeling to it. And, you know, where it's reversed and it's the card 3 in the past, you know what I mean? It's letting us really think about how we made our way through those relationship choices throughout the month. Perhaps either you struggled through them or you've made a lot of headway through them. They've been catalytic in some kind of way. And the fourth card, into the future, we're looking at the Hanged Man upright. And sorry, I don't think I showed the Two of Cups at all. I'm getting caught up in the reading. So the future card and into June, new perspectives, seeing things totally different than other people, owning that fact, not being scared to even to present the fact that, yeah, I see the world differently, you know, than other people. That's going to be a huge thing to embody, you know, that type of mentality when we see June come up here. And so, wow, yeah, these cards are really great. So just again, I'm going to go over our present moment here. Us and the now. Hierophant. And then we have our second card, the Three of Pentacles. And that's our hurdles, our things we worked out through, that we really hashed out or we've been working on all month. Our third card, whoops, reversed though, the Two of Cups, right? So perhaps we've struggled with some of these things during the month. And what we've got coming up and how we're working towards the future is the Hanged Man, right? Oops, sorry about that shadow. And so I have books where I keep notes over the years, you know, of certain things about cards. You know, when I come across different things, I keep myself some little notes here. Sometimes I like to revert to them because I just jot down key phrases usually, you know, or sometimes little definitions or even like quote or whatever that really embodies the card. And over the years, you'll notice if you are a tarot reader, you know, you accumulate so much knowledge that the intricacies sometimes really make a difference to bring newness and freshness to readings. And so I'm just going to read quickly over each kind of blurb from the cards. So in case any of the words catch you in your own interpretation of them, right? That's my hope here. So for our present moment, right? And it's again, it's a 5 too. And I'll just talk quickly about the numerology here of the major arcana. Of all of them. Actually, I love numerology in general, right? I use it to read the minor as well, of course. But the 5 is such a chaotic number. It's the catalyst. It's the shaking up. It's the testing part. It's the putting your money where your mouth is. And it's also the putting the wheels in motion. Right? It's like if you build up a soapbox car and it's that first ride when it's really getting jiggled up and it's going down a rocky road. You get to see what pieces aren't made as tight or where it needs to be corrected or whatever, you know. That's really the message here in the 5. And the Hierophant, sometimes they call him the Pope in other decks, right? And it's this spiritual sort of control mechanism that really signifies the 5. Because the 5, the major struggles that happen with chaotic things, with disruptions, disturbances, is that control mechanism response, right? That comes in, that ego, that shadow, whatever you want to call that more negative aligned sort of emotions and energies that flow through all of us that we're here to alchemize and work through. When things don't go to plan or unexpected things erupt, that kind of bites out of us, right? And we put our claws in to get control over it and make it out to be the way that we intend it to be a lot of times. And that's why the 5 is such a huge testing point of that, to know when that's needed and when that's not. And the card itself, right, is about spiritual guidance, dedication, well-established ritualistic traditions, compliance, ceremonies. I put dedication down there as well. Oh, I lost my music. My clicker is off. Oh, well. Hopefully a commercial doesn't play. So, in our present moment, the card can be seen as one of 2 ways, right? It's signifying how we've moved through May, and so generally I would say that it's signifying us. But if you really feel like you haven't embodied this, it could be a nudge to you to seek this out. Or it could be highlighting somebody very close to you who holds this position. You know, professional guidance, a spiritual person, moral support kind of person. It could be signifying the energetic need for spiritual guidance or support, to a message to seek out, you know, whoever you would consider to be, you know, the Pope or that high authority of spiritual guidance and knowledge. Or even esoteric. You don't have to really put a dogmatic religious spin onto it if you don't like that idea as well. That's why I appreciate like the tarot that uses the Hierophant, because it's more organic to me than the Pope, you know. But that's my own personal kind of judgment speaking for themselves right there, right? But yeah, so presently, it's a message about looking at yourself and trying to embody that deep faith in knowing in the structure of the plan and of the rules of the game and of how things work and of the infinitely beautiful orchestration that takes place for this all to come together so perfectly. Having faith in that, tapping into that, to let that guide you in any sort of chaotic disruptions or any sort of doubt scenarios where things, you know, doubt creeps in and is causing, you know, chaotic mind thoughts, to be able to harness back into that present moment, that spiritual connection, and know that's there. And if you're having a difficult time with that, reaching out to a real figurehead, an external figure, can really help. Okay, so the 3 of Pentacles here, I'll just go over my notes as well, just in case I've missed anything, right? I already talked just a little bit about the numerology of it, so I won't really try to stay away from that. Lucky with material things, lucky with skill. So just being good at something innately, picking up new things and finding out, oh, I'm very good at that, or beginner's luck kind of things. When you start out with new things, you might be facing Or through May, you might have had a lot of occurrences like that. You've tried new things and you pick right up with them. Or, where we have it horizontally, and it could be a hurdle, it could be things that you struggle through, right? The ability to create abundance. And again, abundance, reframe and pull back out of what you think abundance is. Doesn't have to just be a lot of money. So don't think that if you've put out some creative efforts throughout May, but they haven't really brought back any kind of real financial money to you, don't think that doesn't qualify, because abundance is, a frequency, it's a feeling, right? Other things, it could signify even things like gifts or prizes of some kind of external validation and stamp on your work. Whether it's somebody finally buying something that you've created, or somebody, hiring you for a job, something that has to do with your working. And again, remember, under our theme, we've had a theme of temperance too. So it's like letting us know we have to work through things and really stick with them in order to pay off. Because another thing that's really crucial to remembering as we get into like ascension and stuff and speeding up, time is speeding up, everything is, right? We feel rushed, next project, have to make headway, have to get to the next thing, and we can really lose the magic of the moment when we do that. So it's important to stay mindful and conscious in your creations, and to really enjoy the creative process of it, even those more mundane and slow portions of it that call for temperance, right? So again, we'll get into the Two of Cups just as a quick mention, in case any of these little blurbs ring out to people. Unexpected trades of friendship, bringing in new opportunities, new exchanges and meetings. Yeah, love, spiritual and strong relationship, choice of the heart concerning relationships, friendship or love, communication. Oh, this is another big thing that I kind of forgot about too. Mention too that it could be a lack of communication or struggling in communication to be able to solve things between two people, especially the reversal of the Two of Cups. So maybe throughout the month you've really been struggling to communicate yourself, your problems, what kind of solutions that you want to work forward with this person, or in this sort of relationship, or business partnership, or in a project, or whatever kind of relationship that you've been working through all month. And so let's look back at the Hanged Man just one last time in my notes and see if I pull any phrases out of here that I'd like to work with. Oh, and I didn't really talk about the numerology either of the Hanged Man, which is the 12. And the 12 in itself, it brings us into 3. And so there we have this sort of creativity, moment of conception, kind of spark of new life, young view, new view, childlike even view could be a good example of that. And we have the 1 pairing with the 2, and so we have the newness, right? New projects and new anything, basically, new ways pairing up with the 2. And again, see, it's a reflection again, and I missed that in first time around. But it's interesting to see the 2 pairing with the 1 here. So perhaps we're seeing things in a new way with the relationship, the project, whatever that we have been working through and working in temperance through. May into June, we're going to have a totally reversed new way to look at it. Or perhaps even you might feel within that relationship that you see the world totally different than your partner or the person that you're working with or against. Even it could kind of feel like, right? That's interesting. Yeah, I think that will carry on. I think that in the cards themselves, the way that, well, maybe I'll just move my computer here quickly so you can see the way that I have the card set up. 3 and 4 are run parallel to each other, right? They're on the same horizontal line. And so perhaps, like I'm saying, they're carrying over into June even. So perhaps we'll see more work to be done in June with this theme, the twos, the partnerships. Let me just look at my notes here because I didn't really read that. Oh, another thing that I have under here is the concept or the of a sacrifice that comes along with the Hanged Man. That sort of the willingness to be the front man, the willingness to be upside down in front of everybody and look like a fool, even because your heart is in the right place, your truth is in the right place, the world is upside down. And so you have no problem being upside down and portraying the absolute truth and the lunacy of the rest of the world by doing that. It's going to be an interesting June. I can see for sure, especially when we pull back the individual layer, which there's a lot of huge working in here in the individual layer. Just for myself, I hope everybody's getting pinpoints on their own workings in their direct world from the cards. I most certainly am, but on a collective level as well. When we look at this, when we look at all of these cards on that large scale view, it's interesting, and to see all the current event things that are happening. And like I said before, everything's really speeding up. Things are starting to really present themselves with more clarity, because more and more people are waking up, and more people are putting pieces together. Perhaps more and more people are becoming the Hanged Man. They're tired of it. They don't care if it gets them ostracized. They don't care if it makes big to do about things, because it's worth the sacrifice. It's worth going through the pain of it. And did I miss anything else here? Opposed thinking and action, limbo, stagnant, strong beliefs in going against the grain. Yeah, exactly. And I talked about the 12 a bit and everything. Yeah, and also remember, it could be a sort of flashing exit is coming up kind of message to us, since the Hanged Man is in the future position, right? It could be letting us know really later, you better remember this message. You better remember your notion of where you want to stand, and the going against the grain mentality, because you're going to maybe need this in the future, right? Maybe you're going to need to tap into this coming up. Find strength in it, find perseverance in it. And so, yeah. That is the reading here for the month. 28 minutes. I feel like we've talked it through a lot. I brought my Saints and Angels deck out as well, because I was thinking perhaps I might call just one sort of angel card out. I sort of feel like it's a full reading as is, though. And it is Wednesday, so perhaps we'll just wait until Friday, and we'll get their message on Friday for what they have for us for the week, and we'll allow this reading to sit under our umbrella for the week that we already have in the works, which was pausing and playing music. That was the two messages, the two cards that come through for Friday. That the last Friday in May, right? So yeah, I think it's fitting where this is the May card. Let's just leave it at that. Let's let the Saints and Angels rest for June. We'll get a new message from them from June. So yeah, I'll close the message here, and we'll allow this to close May up for us. So I hope the messages have been insightful. If you feel called to, please leave a comment or send me an email if you'd like. If you'd like to share any of your opinions, or you want a reading, or just a chat, anything in general, feel free. Thank you so much for joining me, for witnessing my journey here. Thank you for your audience. Thank you for your beautiful contribution to our collective. And I hope that you will check me out in the future. Telegram, Spotify, yeah, or directly on amariespeaks.com, I guess. See you around.